Hi guys, Matt Lemke with your gamer goggles, and we are at Gen Con 2016. We're actually in the battle arena for the privateer press area. They're doing, well actually I'm gonna let James talk about the events because there's a champions tournament about to kick off in a half hour. And there's the top 16 for, I don't know the name of this tournament, but it looks kind of intimidating. Random prizes, not random prize, random prize. And they are sexy.
I think she might be my favorite caster right now.
I don't know. Something about those colors.
I've always been a Signarin. I can't ever do it alone.
Well, little story. I started playing Menoth because that's what I could buy. When the game first came out, all I could get my hands on was Menoth Jacks.
Oh yeah, people would just snatch stuff up.
Well, I couldn't get troops to save my life. I'm like, I want troops. I want troops.
The game is all about warjacks.
But it is now, for sure. But we're going to chat a little bit about the events that are going on here, where they're at with them. I mean, it's day 3, so you missed them all. Well, not you.
We still got more coming.
Yeah, but you missed the big stuff. Sort of.
All the finals, the 2 champions, half our tournaments are still to go.
Okay.
There are 2 days left.
Yeah. And you've got the arena.
Arena's going 24/7.
And then we're going to talk about the Pressganger program a little bit because it's his job to revamp it, fix it, make it better, find out what's broken, what's not broken, excommunicate people if need be.
That unfortunately does happen sometimes.
It does. I've been in the judging circuit for a long time for Magic the Gathering. I've seen it happen. So tell us about your events.
This year we have our 2 biggest events are Iron Gauntlet World Qualifier. What happens with that is all around the world, there are very specific venues that are able to do qualifying events, and the winners of those tournaments are invited to Lock and Load, our annual convention in Seattle. People from all over the world come and compete at the very highest level of our game. Iron Gauntlet is very unique. It's a 3-list tournament format. With the cut to the final round is you build a brand new list at a higher point value based on all the stuff that you've played. So if you bring 3 lists, only play 2 of them, you can only build from those 2 lists when you make your final decision. So it really comes down to how flexible do you want to be, how much do you want to throw your eggs in one basket, or you diversify, maybe have a slightly less good chance of winning, but you get the maximum potential in your final rounds. Last year, our winner was from Australia. It was our first international winner. Before that, it had been USA, I believe, 3 years in a row. Australia took it away, so there's a little North American pride on the line this year.
I bet. Is the Australian here?
I don't believe he is here this year.
Then it should be easy. He didn't show up.
Iron Gauntlet is never easy.
Well, I mean, it should be easy to take it back from the Australian. He didn't show up.
Well, this is just the qualifier.
Well, that's
the qualifiers go all year long. The next world champion is going to be decided next July at Lock and Load.
And they're in pretty much every country.
They're in almost every country that plays our game.
Yeah, that's a good statement. That plays the game.
Right.
Antarctica doesn't play.
Antarctica does not play. That is true. We also have our Masters tournament, which went on yesterday. I believe we had 94 people signed up for Masters.
That's a good number.
And 2 different heats. They cut to top 16 tomorrow, so they'll be playing tomorrow for the end of that. I believe Circle Orbros made a strong showing.
Oh, very nice.
This year. So even though things are still shaking up, a lot of people have been a little bit down on Hordes since Power Up came out and everyone's all about the Warjacks. Hordes seems to be doing just fine here at Jink.
That's a good thing. It's a good thing.
We also have 2 Champions tournaments. One's going to kick off, like you said, in about a half hour. Champions is our new premier format. It is played fully painted, and it has our first ever limited caster lineup. Instead of having access to all the casters in your faction, you're limited to 4. We went back to our basics. The first 3 casters that came out for the faction in our Prime and Primal books all those years ago, along with the new caster from the Battle Box this year. So you only have that selection to choose from, but you also know what you might face. So it gives you a very nice...
Oh, yeah.
It completely changes the tournament environment, what you can build for, because you know what you might be up against.
It's the metagame. That's the meta version of the
And
game.
this is our first year for Champions. We're very excited about it. We can't wait to see what comes out of it because we think it's really going to diversify list building.
Yeah, I think so. Having both options too is really good for the game. I think that was whoever came up with that.
That would be Will Hunger for Organized Play Developer.
Of course.
He's actually the volunteer coordinator before me. So I have some big shoes to fill.
Yeah, you do. He's done a good job.
Oh, he's done a great job.
He has done a good job. So I guess that moves us into the volunteer program. What do you envision in the changes taking place in like the next year?
Pressgang has been around now for almost 14 years. Good gosh.
Almost.
I think the very first Pressganger was commissioned in 2002, and it really didn't quite kick off till 2003. Since then, it's been growing and growing as the game has. Currently, we have Pressgangers who service all 50 states, and we just got up to 43 countries that currently have active Pressgangers running events in them.
Wow.
We have everything from China, New Zealand, Croatia, all over Europe, Russia, the Philippines. We just added another one in Japan here recently, South Africa, so almost every continent except for, like you said, South Africa. I met a lovely gentleman from Colombia here at Lock and Load that we've been talking back and forth, and it had been a bit hard for him. He helped bring the entire game into his home country and got it all started there because he was thinking about being a distributor. He didn't quite have the skill set and connections, but he got people going in it. So he basically founded the game there, and now he's supporting it in the Pressgang program.
That's very good. So the changes that you're planning on making, how are they going to affect like the retail level? And let's start at the retail level and work up into what's going to happen for the guys who volunteer at like shows, conventions.
At conventions, we're looking to get a little bit, step up our game as it were, because the press gang's been going for a long time, and we have had a lot of people join the program. One of the things that we do see is that over time, a lot of our biggest convention guys, it starts to wear. Conventions are hard. It's rough. It's a lot of hours. It's long days. So we're looking to offer them more as a thank you going forward, and look to take the people that they know in their communities that they see, help foster them, bring them up, and help them, give them access to everything that the Press Gang has to help out with conventions, stuff like that, even in stores.
Even in stores. So at the local level, it's really just going to, how do I want to ask this? So it's going to be the same but less because there's less of it?
It's not that there's less of it. When it comes down to what it takes to be a press ganger, the people that know that best are the people that have been doing the job for years. They are the ones that have been volunteering for us for 5, 7, 10 years. And eventually, you know, it comes time where they want to step aside. And they generally know the best people to tap for the next generation. PG Multiple, Joshua Constance, he is one of our most eager volunteers. He's even relatively new, just the past 2 or 3 years he joined up with the program with us. He runs events at, I think, 4 different stores in California, and he recently tapped a new press ganger who'd been helping him out a lot as a candidate, and I was walking around talking with the stores a little bit. She's absolutely wonderful, and she's going to be helping him out a lot. And that's one of the things that I really want to look for going forward is not just the people who apply through the application process. It's the people who have been out there talking with the press gang, who've seen results, who've already been doing stuff in their community, and less taking applicants but searching out the volunteers that are just doing it out of the goodness of their heart and recognizing that effort. Dallas Kemp, who is now our studio painter, he was a press ganger for 4 years, but he had been volunteering, just his time, his energy, his effort, his love for privateer press 6, 7 years before that even. And it's those people that I really want to seek out and find through retailers contacting me, through other press gangers finding me, sending me an email and getting it set up. More than anything else, I want to find the people that are already doing the work of the press gang and make sure that they get that support, that recognition, that thank you for everything that they're already doing, to give them the responsibility and the welcomes that we can for everything that they do for us.
For those of you that are hearing this, it's not as difficult as it sounds.
If you have the passion,
once in a while you have to deal with a problem player, but it ain't that bad.
No, it's for the person with the mindset, it's a joy.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
really,
definitely.
I have encountered a lot of people that they do one event at a con, they volunteer for just like a couple hours, they can't get enough of it. They see that joy on someone's face when they get started in an event, or that moment of recognition where they're like, I've been playing a bit, I'm getting the rules, and they see it. It clicks. They finally start to get the game. The look on someone's face in that, when a Pressganger, like whether the title's there or not yet, sees that, it fills them up. That's what drives them.
So do you have a plan to like populate the less populated areas? Like I'm sure like New York, California, the bigger cities, you got a pretty decent amount. But as you start moving through the central U.S.,
yeah,
it becomes a little bit...
It's more spread out. There's a lot more travel.
Yeah, do you have a plan to tackle that, or have you not really gotten that far yet?
That is one of the problems that all the volunteer programs face.
Yep.
And really, a lot of that comes down to finding the people willing to travel. Because especially in those big cities, there's a lot of stores, there's a lot of Pressgangers. A lot of them can't travel as far distance-wise because of the fact that there's traffic and all that. When you get out to bigger areas, we have to look for those people who have the flexibility in their schedules to make those long trips. Because if there is a store that's 2 hours away from the next city, finding the people that are willing to make that long haul and giving them extra recognition for doing that is something that I think is very important. Because really, once the community gets started, gets that core 4 players that show up once a week to play, that's when the community starts growing. That's when a new Pressganger is born out of that group. Because as those communities start to form, the cornerstone will appear. And that is usually where you'll find a new Pressganger is. One will come in, get it started, help get things going, and in that community, a new person will sprout up, and that's how I see the press gang growing to those levels, is that we get it started, the community builds, someone learns, and can then step into the press ganger role in those further off communities from the next really populated city.
Anything else you want to add?
I would like to add a couple things. One of the things that we're really looking into right now is for the hobby side of things, is promoting that a lot more in the press gang. There are a lot of press gangers out there and a lot of very passionate people in our community right now that do the hobby stuff. They do training, they do painting, they do sculpting, they do modifications to the models, and that's one of the things that I want to highlight and start promoting within the press gang.
So you're gonna like have a press gang magazine, or are you gonna tie it into quarterly?
Well, no quarter always likes to showcase that stuff, but I would even like to see something like, I don't know if we call it this or incorporate it, like a hobby ganger. Someone who really knows that painting stuff, who really knows the hobby, that can show people the other half of the game. Because it is a hobby game. It's the game is phenomenal. Throwing dice on the table, hurling monsters across the battlefield, a warjack smashing another to bits, that's fun. The other part of it is the painting, the modeling, the basing, all that stuff. I'll be honest, painting miniatures has got me through some tough times. It's the ability to sit there, zone out, and just enjoy what you're doing for a little bit and forget about everything else. It's a wonderful feeling. You can lose track of time really quickly.
I know. I've lost track of painting time very frequently.
You sit down like, okay, I'm just gonna do this unit. It's 3 a.m. What happens?
You sit down, oh, I got an hour to paint this model. Crap, I'm 3 hours in.
What happened?
It's not done!
But that side of the press gang is something I think we can really promote more. There are some great, wonderful people. Like I said, Dallas Kemp came from the press gang, and his stuff was all hobby. And I want to see those people, and I want to recognize those people the same way that people that run demos, that run events, that work our conventions, because that hobby side is just as important to us.
Well, yeah, especially with conventions, you get 4 or 5 strong hobby gangers in an area. It's got to save a lot of money on ship and terrain. Well, they bring in 200 pieces of terrain for the weekend.
Have you ever been to a paint party before?
No.
They're great. It's just a lot of people get stuck on the painting because it is hard to get started, but once you get started, it gets rolling. A paint party is where you just decide on a weekend, usually about once a month, You come in for like 4 to 6 hours and you just say, hey, everyone come in, we'll paint together. You put on some music, you order some pizza, and you get 12 people painting there, 8 of which would never paint normally. And those sorts of things just really get the ball rolling, because once people are started, they don't want to stop.
Yeah, it's easier to do with other people. It really is.
Oh, yeah. Plus, you get to share techniques and all that sort of stuff. I learned almost everything I have about painting, not from tutorials online or reading books or stuff like that, from other people. I had the blessing of learning a bit from Rich Kurist, one of our P3 Grandmasters, when I lived here in Indianapolis. Just having that one person teaching people, like the whole community's art level comes up.
Yep, it does. That's true. You don't know what you're doing wrong if you're teaching yourself. I know.
Sometimes you know when you've done something really wrong.
That's true. But actually, one of the greatest things that I had as a teacher, I entered a speed painting competition here about 8 years ago. And I'm like, they're like, okay, you get one brush and you've got an hour. Go. And I'm like, wait a minute. How am I going to dry brush with one brush in an hour? It's going to be really wet. So I learned really quickly that I had to blend, and I'd never blended before.
You have to blend, you have to do edging, you have to work around it.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, this is going to be an experience. And ever since, I've only used a 0 brush, and I've only wet blended.
Have you done 2 brush blending yet?
Not yet, but you know Jim, right? He does. He paints. I don't have his card. He paints a lot of stuff for Wild West Exodus. And well, he paints for a lot of people. He uses a size 8 brush.
Really? An 8? Like big old regiment sized? Oof.
Yeah, he uses an 8. He brushes on his primer. He's got a great technique. I'm thinking about starting to watch it.
Personally, I'm a brush on primer guy myself.
Yeah, that's what he does. He's a brush on primer. He said he puts on usually about 7 to 8 coats.
Okay, I don't do 7 to 8 coats.
He said a lot.
I do one.
A lot of his shading is done by extra coats of primer.
That's one of the big things that I keep getting told by Dallas is I need to thin my paints. So I'm like, it's gonna take a lot of time. I don't know.
Thinning your paints is huge.
Yeah, thinning your paints.
I'm not gonna say any names, but I got a friend who doesn't thin his paints and he dips. A lot of times.
I can't dip. I can't dip. I can't do it.
I can't dip either.
I can't do it.
A lot of times the paint will start to dry on his brush, and it looks like he painted with melted Crayola.
Ooh. That can work on some things.
Not when you get those chunks.
Yeah,
you don't take them off.
Yeah, it doesn't work on things like Warjacks, that's for sure.
Yeah, okay. So what was the next one? You said a couple things.
A couple things. The hobby gang is a big thing. I also want to sort of highlight the people that are best at what in sort of like their area. If someone's great at demos, I want to sort of get them so that they're recognized for that. If someone's great at being an EO, I want to get them recognized for that. As the Press Gang grows, some diversification and some, what's the word I'm looking for? Some specialization can be really good. Knowing what people are great at. Some people are great at sitting down at conventions.
He wants to profile you.
In stores. And those people aren't always best at the same things. I want to build that profile so that if a store needs help, I don't send a guy that's great at conventions and not so great in the store, not so great at building a community. I want to get the guys that I know are great community builders and bring them in. I want to make sure that we know that skill set so that when a retailer contacts us and say, I want some help building my community, I can go, I know just the guy, that guy right there. And that way that someone can come in and really foster that community, get the right fit for the store's goals. If a store really wants to build up that competitive community, I want to bring someone in that can help them with that. If they want to bring up the hobby community, I want to see someone who can do that. If they just want to have as big a player base as possible, they don't care, I want to see the person that does great demos there. I want to find the right fit for each store.
All right. I think that does it. Unless you've got more.
Well, if any retailers out there know of someone in their community they think already has that spirit of the Press Gang, that willingness to help out their fellow player, that willingness to show people the game, that passion, send me an email. Hit me up at quartermaster@privateerpress.com. I'd love to hear all about them, and I'd love to recognize the effort that they're already putting into our games.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
It's a pleasure.